So we started using Membean here at the Singapore American School in our middle school for grades 6 through 8, and we began as a pilot for our grade 7 students of about 100 kids, and then pretty soon, once the word got around of how effective it was, other teachers wanted to get on board, and so it was a very fast pilot, and by the end of the semester we had about 900 kids online. Overwhelmingly, the response was positive. About 80% of the kids rated it as much better than any previous vocabulary program. They also, about the same number, 80%, noticed Membean words in their reading and conversations that they heard, and about the same number tried it out in their own writing. So it's definitely a relevant program for students to not only develop their vocabulary and also to incorporate it into their own work. Just another word about how it fits within our overall curriculum. We're a workshop school, grades K through 8, and in terms of word study, we teach it in a number of ways. Obviously, a language-rich classroom through reading and writing activities daily. But also some of our mini lessons are targeted towards word study development. But there was this one piece that seemed to be a bit missing, and that was developing word attack skills in a systematic way that is differentiated and also scoped in sequence. And that was really what Membean did for us. It was able to calibrate students where they're at, and so it's an individualized program. And all of the words are based on Greek and Latin roots, and their interactive pages allow for students to explore those root families, understand how words are formed, and then help them build their own vocabularies.
So what we try to do with Membean on a weekly basis, we try to give students about 45 to 50 minutes exposure to Membean. They do about 20 minutes in class, about 2 to 3 sessions a week, and do sort of 20, 25 minutes at home. The whole idea is there's lots of short, sharp, regular practice as opposed to long, continuous practice. One of the things that we've noticed is that kids have started to take ownership of their vocabulary. It's the idea of, oh, that's one of my words, that's one of my vocabulary words. And one of the things that we also do inside the classroom is we take formative assessments on the time spent. So the idea being that students, if they don't do a lot of their Membean practice, they can still score well on their assessments, but they're not really progressing through the system and building their vocabulary. So we take 2 assessments. We take a formative on, did you meet the 45, 50 minutes of time spent during the week, thus extending the amount of vocabulary you're going to get exposed to. In addition, how did you do on the actual assessments themselves? And we tend to do maybe 30 or 40 questions once every 2 weeks as an assessment.
And in the formative assessments, we're also looking at the quality of their studies. So we're using the data online showing how much time they're spending with each word, what types of errors they're making, and then coaching them into better practice study sessions.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that we do in addition to Membean is we have students take notes on the new words as they're exposed to them. So they're actually building their own little database of vocabulary and their own little repertoire. And so when students are doing a piece of writing, one of the revision strategies we have them use, go back to your list of Membean words and how many words can you integrate into your piece of writing. And the students would highlight those words, and we often look for 3 or 4 words per piece that they've actually used in practice. So it's not just the individualized, isolated, I'm going to learn this bank of words, but how can I integrate these words into my writing in a natural, authentic way?
It's been a really seamless process for us to get over 900 students online, and whenever a teacher has a question, we email it right in and often hear back within 24 hours. It's really set a high standard for customer service, even overseas with the time difference. It doesn't seem to matter, and so we appreciate the tailoring that Membean does to suit our needs to get such a massive group of students and teachers up to date. Another thing that we notice is that Membean continually fine-tunes their work, either adding new words or taking our feedback into consideration. And so it just makes for a dynamic partnership within you know, our school and what Membean can offer us.
We also enjoy the portion that's actually free on the Membean website, which is the route pages, and we've actually implemented, in addition to the weekly practice, just a route of the week. And so the students learn one route each week. We're already up to about 20, 25 routes. They practice them through core repetition and visual association. And not only are they building the vocabulary base, but they're also building this knowledge of very, very powerful and very useful routes. And we've seen the words themselves that are on Membean come across in so many of the standardized tests that the students get exposed to and they have to take. It's precise vocabulary, it's vocabulary that they're going to use, and it's vocabulary that they're going to be assessed on in formal ways through their academic careers.
Membean is a very efficient way to differentiate vocabulary study for 100 different students. Before, that was something that was very time consuming and difficult to manage effectively in your classroom.
Yeah, we used to, you know, I used to teach vocabulary with those workbooks. So every student, the whole class would get the same 20 words, or even in words within a novel. So you're kind of hunting for specific words that you hope would resonate with kids. And as Megan said, this is really a differentiated program where students are going through the Membean word lists in a way that builds towards more proficient vocabulary, more sophisticated vocabulary that, as Russell said, is really it comes up in a lot of the texts that they come across, and the way that they've selected the words is through the amount of times that they do appear in across texts. Mm-hmm. So it's really been a bit of relevance added to our vocabulary program.
We have students we're 7th grade teachers. We have students working at 9th grade level. We have students working at 5th grade level. To meet the needs of those students in any other vocabulary program out there, and we've tried a lot of them in the past, it would be almost impossible. This way we have a program that stretches the one that needs to be stretched, that has the support for the ones that need the support, and each of them are building their vocabulary knowledge at a level, at a pace that each of them suit. Parents love it, because they understand the importance of building vocabulary, and those parents who are really enthusiastic, those kids do a little bit more Membean practice than what the minimum requirement is. So,
and it's a very easy way to measure the students' progress as well, using the data on the website.
No, it's a dynamic teacher dashboard page where teachers can look at classes as a whole, individual students, and really do some really in-depth analytics in terms of understanding how students are progressing in their word study.
And the students are excited to use Membean. On days where we don't practice Membean, they ask if they can have some time to do their Membean study sessions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just the quality of the practice as well. We can look at students and how because the website is laid up so beautifully and the teacher dashboard is so efficient, that we can look at the assessments and the words that students get wrong, and then we can look at how they studied those words and how many seconds they actually spent on individual words, and then point out the cause and effect. That if you're not spending time actually learning the word and studying the word and using the different memlets within the program, then you're not actually processing the word in their vocabulary. So the analytics that Membean provides make our job so much easier and so much more efficient.
And the unintentional learning is strengthening the students' study skills.
I think really it's differentiation. The student body that we have had a wide variety of different educational experiences. They've come from so many different backgrounds and so many different schools that we have, as I say, we have students who are working well above grade level, and we have students working well below grade level. And this is one component of our program that really is worry-free. We know we can meet the needs of all of that diverse body of students with a program that is tailored to all the way up to SAT testing standards, that meets our MAP testing standards, and that is so easy and seamless to implement to all of those students. The calibration at the beginning gets the kids at the level they need to be at to get started, and then the system takes care of itself. It's really an efficient way.
And we have new students coming in throughout the year, and pretty much after the first session, they're good to go. They don't need a lot of assistance to get started with it.
we actually gave them a chance to try it out so they could see what it's like as a student, and they were very excited. Many of them asked if it's available over the summer, if they and their children can continue to use it. The administrators in the room were very happy to see how differentiation plays out in a system or in a program like Membean, rather, and they definitely saw how it addresses a variety of needs and for our students.
The easiest answer to that question is, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
It's a really well together. We've got a lot of experience together as educators, and this is the best program that I've come across over 20, 25 years of instructing in a reading and writing type environment. It's really well organized. It's really very user-friendly for the students. So as I said before, the dashboard for the teachers makes the implementation of testing and retaking of tests and a makeup test like seamless within seconds. The results come back within seconds. The students instantly see where they've gone wrong. Can you imagine that type of feedback 10 years ago? And one of the things that we're looking at is an analysis of types of questions that Membean are asking, and so the kids see if we can identify where the kids are getting a certain type of question wrong. And then working at how we can look into those things. But it really is, it's what are the schools waiting for, because it's an excellent program.
Yeah, and I would also add to that is there could be a misconception of implementing a computerized program that the teacher kind of takes a back seat, and we haven't seen that at all. In fact, our teachers are more interactive with students on an individual basis throughout the Membean cycles, our teaching cycles, and it's almost like with the workshop where you confer with students. If students are struggling, you have that chance because everyone's kind of working on their Membean work. Teachers can meet with students to see what it is that they're struggling with and how they're learning, which is a nice thing. Another thing that we do here is we don't just limit the word study to the Membean sessions. There's a couple of interactive days where students take their Membean words and collaborate with each other through interactive games. Even though the words may be different, the games are such where they can apply them in partnerships and in groups. And so not to think that it's just putting a program in front of the kids. It's still doing that good teaching that elevates the learning experience for the kids.